Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Christopher Woodburn, and we are back tonight with a brand new episode of Schmoedown All Access. I got a kick-ass crew with me, so let me introduce my panel. First off, my co-host, running the stream, all-around great guy, Haven Pendergast.
What's up, dude? What's up, guys? Ready to talk some Schmoedown?
Yes, sir. Next up, we got Sicario himself, Sean Sandberg. What's cracking?
Nope.
Okay, we've lost Sean, but I'm certain he'll return. And last but certainly not least, he is the crazy one, great reactor, James Schmo.
What's going on, Schmoville? Are you crazy denizens and degenerates of YouTube ready to get down? I know I am.
Yes, sir. So, it was championship week, fellas. Some of the best competitors the Schmoedown League has ever known. On Tuesday, and Sean has returned. Welcome back.
Fucker. I don't know why. I got booted out of the chat before we started, and for some reason I got booted out again. So, but to answer your question, I'm doing very, very well, and I'm looking forward to talking about the Schmoedown from the past week. We got a week of Sam Levine, one of my favorite competitors, and I think this is going to be a fantastic chat.
Yes, sir.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
So exactly. On Tuesday,
to play us out. What does that mean, to play us out?
We totally just hijacked this, Chris. My bad.
Sorry about that.
All good. So on Tuesday, we had the team championship where those pesky Patriots were defending their belts, looking to go 10-0, taking on ATL above the line. And this match was every bit as fantastic as I thought it was going to be. Sean, I'll kick it to you first. Your thoughts on the match?
I mean, it was brilliant. I mean, came down right to the wire. It was the Patriots trying to go 10-0, which honestly I thought they were actually going to do because, after what, 6 title defenses and after being completely undefeated, they looked like they weren't going to stop anytime soon. And honestly, I really wouldn't be surprised if they got those belts back because they look, JTE, when he's on his own, he can kind of shit the bed sometimes. Snyder, when he's on his own, doesn't always do the best. But when you put those two together, they are undoubtedly, in my opinion, the best team that has ever competed in the Schmoedown. And, numbers speak for themselves at that point. You can like them, you can dislike them, but they are the best team that has ever done it, hands down.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all love to hate them, but 9-0, that doesn't come easy. They defeated above the line at last year's Spectacular. And, yeah, this match, it came down to the wire again. Unfortunately, they were on the short end because they really hadn't seen the Italian job.
Yeah.
Hayden, let's take it to you. What were your thoughts?
To me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Just the thing about what the Patriots accomplished. 9-0. They had the belts from December of 2016. Right now, we are in May of 2018. That's never going to happen again. No team is going to go undefeated 9-0. I mean, Christian said it before the match. He said it during the match. This is a history-making match. If the Patriots would have won the match, they would have been 10-0. If Above the Line would have won the match, Sam Levine would have had 2 belts, unheard of. So it was like Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan. At WrestleMania 7. You knew some history shit was gonna go down, and it did, man. And to come down to the Italian job, that was a kind of a tough question, because even in the league that we play here, sometimes when you ask a person hey, who played this character in this movie, and if it's an ensemble cast, that's kind of tricky unless you watched it the day before, the week before, racking your brains trying to figure it out. But Sam has gotten a lot better in the buzz around. You could see that Jeff was kind of getting a little frustrated because it seemed like he was pressing the buzzer, but Above the Line got the first 4 in the round 4 in the buzzer round. The Patriots were able to get 1 point in the buzz round. They got the 5th buzz in. So it kept it close, man, and it was a hell of a match. It was a great match.
Absolutely. And finally, James.
Yeah, Haven, I'll do you one better on the wrestling comparisons. I'd almost compare this to Von Erichs versus the Freebirds in a lot of ways, But when it comes down to it, yeah, I mean, like you guys said, I mean, hands down, I knock on the Lions Den more than anybody. I've said it before, I'll say it 1,000 times more. Tom Dagnino looks like a guy who grew up as a prom night dumpster baby, just decided he was going to manage the Schmoedown. JT looks like friggin' Lance Armstrong's missing left nut, grew up and sprouted legs and started reviewing movies. Jeff Snyder, you go into the stinking stereotype playbook and you look under Weasley Jew, his picture's right there. I'll say,
Jesus Christ.
All day long. The point is, you cannot deny that what these guys have accomplished. 9-0 from the day they came together. One victory after another, picking up those tag belts, defending them successfully against top-of-the-line teams, Wolves of Steel, top 10, they won them from top 10, beat them twice more, Team Trek, all these other teams have stepped up, and you almost thought, is this ever going to end with these guys? Are they just going to, retire with these belts? But then you get two guys, the quality of Sam Levine, Drew McWeeny, guys who know their stuff. And not only that, not only know their stuff, but know how to play the game. And, almost as well, if not better than the Patriots. And the biggest thing with the Patriots, and Sam Levine said it, they love to play head games. The whole Lions Den love playing head games. But the biggest thing with those two, and I mean, as frustrated as it looked like everybody was getting in that match, you got to tune that out, and they actually managed to do that, and they picked up a win.
Absolutely. So we'll take this round by round. In the first round, Drew and Jeff were the standouts, getting 6 out of 8 correct. And JT and Sam, they struggled a little bit, only getting 4 out of 8.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you guys foresee, if you had to pick one person who you thought would have been the standout in the first round, who would you have picked? Me personally, I would have went with Sam.
For me, myself, I would have gone with Jeff Snyder, just because in the first round, Jeff Snyder always seems to be doing exceptionally well. But I'm also not really surprised that Drew McWeeny did extremely well. I'm slightly surprised that Sam Levine didn't do as well as we figured that he would, especially because he's just been a freaking monster over the last little while. Even though I really hope Dan Murrell comes back and starts, really, I hope he starts like basically saying, hey, that's my belt. I will be taking that from you very shortly. But at the end of the day, I think that Levine was a little underwhelming somewhat in this first round. But yeah, overall, I think Snyder would have been the person that I would have thought would have done the best out of anybody. Yeah. Even though I think his picture should be next to the word douche in the dictionary. Which I don't feel as bad for saying after James' quote.
Yeah.
In the fucking prior to this.
Sorry, I watched too many roasts. I swear to God, I watched way too many of those.
Oh yeah, no, believe me, I'm with you on that one.
So, James, who would you have foreseen having the best first round?
Just based on his track record alone, I would have gone with the Godfather, Drew McWeeny. The guy, he always is. I mean, he stays as cool and calm and collected as he can. He focuses on the question. He thinks it out and he rationalizes it out in his head. He writes it down, and that guy we know how deep his knowledge well runs, and that's the biggest thing. And I know he really stood out along with Snyder in that round. But yeah, I always count on Drew McWeeny to really pull it out, especially in those opening rounds.
And Haven?
Yeah, I would have thought the same. I thought Drew, the Godfather, would have won a perfect 8 for 8, which I think he only missed one.
No, he missed 2 questions.
He missed 2, okay. But yeah, I thought he would have went a perfect. I thought he would have went perfect in the first round. But my standout in the first round, I have to agree with Sean. Jeff. Jeff Snyder was the standout to me, because he just, he does the douchebag so well. He does that dirty, heel so well. This trash talk after the question is asked, just to get in the mind of the other competitors, kind of throw them off their game. He's the best at it when he's got it going. So I would say Jeff is my MVP for the first round.
Though, can we all be honest about something? I enjoyed watching Uwe Boll beat him up.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
If none of you have seen that, like, I'm not talking to you guys, but anyone in the audience hasn't seen that, go watch Uwe Boll versus Jeff Snyder. It's pretty fucking brutal.
Yep.
I'll make sure I'll have to check that out.
Ooh, you're gonna watch Snyder get knocked down like 3 times in one round. It's pretty brutal. It's pretty fucking brutal.
So after the first round, no surprise here. It was all tied up at 10. The Patriots, they decided to go first. They spun drama. They elected to take it after conferring with their manager. And they got all their questions right, 6 for 6. They only had to go multiple choice twice. So, yep. I mean, that was a pretty dominant second round for them. What were your guys' thoughts on it?
It was. I mean, they the first what was it, 6 questions? The first 4 they got 2 points each, and and I think the last 2 questions they went down to multiple choice, but they talked to each other, and they knew it. I didn't know if they were going to go back and spin the wheel again, but they stuck to it to everybody's surprise. And they just rocked that house, man. They had a big lead after that, but, you still had to wait for above the line to play. So, but right there, you're like, holy shit, this team is like super ahead. But, we still had to see what above the line did when it was their chance. So it was, but yeah, the Patriots were dominant when it was their turn at the wheel.
Absolutely. James?
Yeah, I mean, again, I've gone out of business when it comes to counting out the Patriots in any fashion, especially if they feel like they're strong in a category. I will say I was tickled with the first 2 questions, because the first one about the Count of Monte Cristo, that was one of my favorite movies since the first time I saw it. So I thought that was. Yeah. And then as far as Dead Man Walking goes with question number 2, I actually performed in the stage version of that show playing Sean Penn's character. So that was a lot of fun for me. So that I kind of got a kick out of that.
Oh, I'd kill to see that.
Oh, it was fun. I wish I had a tape I could show you guys, but it was awesome.
I knew that one because I wrote a question for that one. So as soon as they started saying, I was like, Sean Penn.
Yeah, but no,
I think I was in the match where you asked that.
Yep.
But yeah, like I said, the Patriots, especially if they feel confident about something, they know they can really ration it out and work together. Because again, this is the mark of a good team. And I know if anybody here is a wrestling fan, they know that it's not so much somebody who works exactly the same as you, but somebody who kind of helps fill in the gaps to where, if you've got a power game, they've got a speed game, or if you talk, you do a lot of talking, they back it up with the physicality. There's a give and take in a lot of that, and I feel like the Patriots both have that in spades. Jeff's got a lot of knowledge areas that fill in a lot of JT's gaps, and vice versa, and they play really well off each other. So when you're able to do that and you have that kind of chemistry and the kind of chemistry that comes from 9 wins in a row and 7 title defenses, I mean, you're gonna kill it no matter what you get, especially again if you feel confident in it.
Oh, 100%. Mind you, though, I know we all talk about Jeff Snyder and how fantastic he is as a member of that team. Let's be honest. JTE in certain instances has just been remarkable. Like, who here would have hit Billy Drago when they got asked that Untouchables question a few matches ago? I believe it was against was it against MODOK? I think it was against MODOK, but it was them versus MODOK, and they wound up getting asked who was the hitman that was hired by Robert De Niro in the Untouchables to kill Malone, played by Sean Connery. Like, who here would have got that with Billy Drago? Because I can tell you right now, I like to think of myself as pretty good at movie trivia, and I wouldn't have gotten that.
Yeah, no.
JTE, as much as we all want to talk about, like, oh, JTE's lost so many singles matches, he is fantastic. And I got to say, with that team, they work so well off one another. Like, even in a loss, I still have to talk about that. Which, at the same time, them whiffing on Donald Sutherland, I was shocked by. Like, I messaged Chris. I was like, yo, how the fuck did they miss that? Like, right after that match, because I was shocked. I didn't think they would. I didn't think they'd miss that, because, I mean, I'm going to put it down to them just feeling fine, freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
Yeah, in a situation like that could definitely come into play. That's for sure. And yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Sean. As much as we rip on JT, and like I said, I've ripped on the Lions Den 6 ways to Sunday, but you're absolutely right. I mean, when he's not misspelling words, regardless of how many tongue twisters trip him up, JT's got a solid knowledge base as well. And you're absolutely right. He does know his stuff. Unless he's forgetting to put entire words in, like Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's.
All right, so then ATL, they spin, and they land on Leonardo DiCaprio. Now, me personally, I was like, I'd feel pretty good getting that category. And they did fairly well. They got 4 out of 6 for 8 points. The Patriots were able to steal with Shutter Island, but then they whiffed on another question. So, I mean, after round 2, Patriots are up 22-18. And then going into round 3, they spin the wheel, and they spun fantasy sci-fi.
I thought it was crime.
Crime. My mistake. Crime. So they spin crime, and then they both wager 3 points. They both get the question right after the sunset. Now, I was watching a little bit of Schmoedown Rundown earlier, and they asked Sam that question, would you have bet 3 points no matter the category? And he said that even if they had spun musicals, they would have wagered 3 points, because it was that kind of a situation. You got to go for it when you're going for the titles, and I think that's a ballsy move. I mean, crime they're pretty good at regardless, but yeah, they both got it. And then after round 3, it was 25-21. Did you guys, me personally, I never even heard of the movie After the Sunset. Did any of y'all know that answer?
I did. Pierce Brosnan and Salma Hayek.
Yeah, I would have had no clue on that one. I'll be straight honest.
Yeah, I saw that probably about like 9-10 years ago, but I knew the movie.
Yeah, I would have got it wrong. I couldn't pull it. Couldn't think of it.
Yeah, I had never even heard of it. In my reaction, I guessed Thomas Crown Affair, even though I knew that was wrong, because that was Brosnan and Rene Russo.
Yeah, right.
And then, go ahead, James.
I was going to say, to go off your point there, Chris. You talk about Snyder mentioning that he would have, taken that, bet that 3 points regardless of, whichever category it was. To me, it's a similar situation to, in football, if you're at 4th and 1 and you're, however many yards away, do you go for the field goal to try to, just get 3 points on the board, or you try to snake it across there? Sometimes you got to go big or go home in some cases to get the biggest lead possible. That way nobody else can play catch up. So, and again, maybe that analogy is getting a little mixed up there, but I mean, to me, it's the equivalent of, do I go for a field goal or maybe it's more to the point of maybe like extra point versus a 2-point conversion. Do I go for the 1 to just put it up there, or do I give myself a little bit more breathing room so the next guy can't catch it?
Or maybe it's the equivalent of, running the ball to, what's his name? Former running back for the Seahawks.
Lynch?
Marshawn Lynch?
Yeah, Lynch. It's the equivalent to running the ball to Lynch as opposed to getting fucking Russell to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Why would you pass? Sorry.
Yeah. No. Why would you pass? Why would you pass?
And then going into round 4, this is where Above the Line really just they took over. I mean, they were still trailing after round 4, but they scored 4 out of the 5 buzzers. You know, Sam, like always, well, most times he was dominant, getting 3.
We'll get to that later.
We'll get
Drew got 1, and then Schneider capped it off to give the Patriots back a 1-point lead, 26-25. I mean, what were y'all guys' thoughts on that? I mean, Sam's just he's fantastic in this speed round. It can't be denied.
Sam's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, he made the joke about it in the post-game interview. Like, he's only got so much room between his brain and his arm, so it doesn't take as long for the signal to get there. Yeah. But, I mean, yeah, he's absolutely deadly in that speed round, and, I mean, there's no doubt about it. Like, I knew a lot of those answers, but I would not have gotten to the buzzer that quick.
Yeah.
And I think it speaks to Sam. Not only A, did he know those answers, but B, he was able to know enough about how to play the game to where he could get there in enough time to actually have the time to not only beat the Patriots, but voice his answer coherently. So, but I mean, like you said, Drew McWeeny was no slouch in that round either. He added to the total points for the team, and then obviously Patriots capped it off with a final pointer to keep from going in at a deficit. So, like I said, we talked about it this whole match. It was back and forth, the kind of quality of a match you would expect from a championship match, especially between two teams of this caliber.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was saying about the buzzers, man. Sam's just been, from where he started to now, he just got some experience with that buzzer round. Because you could see Jeff was just like a millisecond away from hitting the buzzer the first 3 times when Sam got those right. The 4th one, the Godfather got that one right. And then finally, Jeff was able to get the 5th one and get 1 point for his team. You could tell he was getting pissed that he just couldn't tap it on time, man. And that round is make or break sometimes.
Yeah. And that frustration in that round might have led to a little bit of that, what we talked about earlier with the final round, them kind of whiffing it on the one question in there at the end. But yeah, I mean, like you said, when you get that frustrated, when you get a guy who's that good on that buzzer, and you're just like, damn it, will you let me get a word in edgewise? Sometimes that can affect you going forward. So,
and I got to be honest, that 5th question, I mean, Schneider got it, but is it me or did it take them a little longer than you would have thought? Because I immediately knew Fruitvale Station. It seemed like it took them a couple seconds to actually hit the buzzer.
Yeah.
That surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, like it almost seemed like it was like, wait, we kind of know this answer, but is this like a trick question? Is it a situation where, some people think like a certain movie is like Spielberg's directorial debut, but actually no, it's this one. So, because I've talked to a lot of people who think, I think what were we talking about? I think like THX or whatever was Spielberg's first movie. I'm like, no, it's this. And then, so it might have been a situation like they knew the answer, but it was like, wait, is that the answer? Or is this like one of those situations? So it could have been something like that.
Oh yeah. Especially after 3 rounds, just thinking of questions. And, because if you missed the question, it would have lost a point, I believe. So he probably just was like, wait a minute. Okay. And then,
like I said, for us watching at home, it's like, it's nerve-wracking thinking, okay, come on, you guys know the answer to this. Come on, buzz in. But you got to figure it's even more nerve-wracking for the guy sitting in front of the cameras under the lights with, the pressure on. I mean, it's
probably hot, too. It's probably hot in that studio.
I can speak from experience. I've done stage acting since I was like 12 years old. It gets hot with those lights on. Holy crap. Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, it's pretty cold in there. From what I've been told, it's cold in there.
Oh, okay.
And maybe they
That's why you see Jen Sturger wearing a jacket all the time.
Sure.
Fair enough.
Quick question before we move on, out of curiosity. If there's one team out of, any of the different leagues that we all play in, who would you like to see play in the Schmoedown the most?
Sons of Apocalypse.
Don't kiss my ass because I asked the question, okay?
I'm being dead serious. You and Grant you guys are amazing. Like, you guys are. I mean, of course, I would love to see me and Caleb in the Schmoedown, but if I'm being honest, you guys are dominant.
Oh, thank you.
Like Grant, and you know your shit. You guys, I haven't seen too many other teams play. I think Christopher and Caleb, they could probably make a good showing. You know, it's either Sons of Apocalypse, you know, the Men with No Names, or probably Notorious Chance. You know, I think those you know, 3 teams could give it a go in the Schmoedown. You know, from the teams that I know of, you know, that I've seen, that I witnessed actually play firsthand. You know, because Grant, man, like the last match he played in, man, like the team that you guys played against, man, I felt sorry for them, man, because they, you know, they never knew those answers. They couldn't even fathom the answer, and Grant was just like had it right there, you know. So.
There you go.
Yeah, James.
As far as my money goes, like I completely agree with Haven. Any of those 3 teams would absolutely be great. But I got a nice little idea I'd like to propose to Mr. Christian Harloff if he's watching. Anybody who competes in Jack of all Trivia, I say we get a bunch of teams together. We have a 16-man tournament. The 16-team tournament. The winner of that tournament gets an audition, like an audition or a tryout match against a team in the Schmoedown.
Oh, I'm in.
Good luck with that.
I know. Good luck with that. I went into fantasy poker there for a minute.
Maybe in the future. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. For me personally, I think there's 3 teams I'd really like to see. Notorious Chance is one of them. Killer Chemistry is another. And Team Big Picture with Paul Oyama and Michael Campbell. Right. Those three teams I think would be remarkable.
Well, let me ask this. With Paul and Michael, have they had a team match yet?
Yeah. Dude, Paul and Michael are 3-0 in worldwide movie games.
Oh,
yeah. They're 4-0 in worldwide movie games going into the final of that. And on top of that, they beat me and John Salvi in the one match I've played there. And Paul Oyama is just incredible. Yep. Absolutely incredible. And Michael Campbell's nothing to sneeze at when it comes to a competitor. He is unbelievable as well.
Yeah, it'd just be tricky just getting the foreign players all the way over to California.
That's true.
But hey, if somebody was Sean just left. But yeah, that's it's always good for the what ifs, and especially if somebody was funding them to come to the States and Christian had a spot for them open, I could see them coming here.
Well, I believe that is part of the Patreon to get an audition. I think the $300 a month, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, if you donate $300 for 2 straight months, they give you an audition. Christian will call you. They'll do some questions back and forth. They'll give you a shot at a promo, and then they'll make a decision from there.
Yeah. So, moving on to round 5, the Patriots were up 26-25. I can't remember their numbers exactly in order. I remember Sam picked 8-3-1 because that is his mother's birthday. So Drew starts off. He gets the dance movies question. Who plays Honey Daniels in Honey? He gets it correct right away. Jessica Alba. Yep. Take it over to Jeff. What is Brad Pitt's character name in Fight Club? He gets it Tyler Durden. Take it back to Sam for what was their category? Crime.
I think it was drama. Because it was the Footloose question.
Yeah, it was a question about Ocean's 11, who plays the Malloy brothers. He gets it, Casey Affleck and Scott Conn.
Yeah.
Take it back to JTE. He gets 80s. And that was basically, what was the name of the remake that starred Julianne Hough? He gets it, Footloose. And then back to ATL, 5-pointer. Famous actors and actresses. Name the 2 movies that Tom Cruise played lawyers in the 90s. He got
The Firm and A Few Good Men. Yeah.
Yeah. And then over to Patriots. It's make or break time. They get the question, who plays John Bridger in The Italian Job? They try to prolong it with their repeats. But unfortunately for them, but fortunately for many of us, they don't get it. Above the line, new team champions. I mean, for me, that third round, I think it's the best. Fifth round. That was the best 5th round I've ever witnessed, bar none. And then my reaction, I rant and rave, go wild when I know that Above the Line has won. I was surprised too that the Patriots missed out on Donald Sutherland, but between the 2 of them, they had only seen the movie once. So it's not all that surprising that they missed it. So what was your guys' reaction witnessing above the line dethrone the Patriots?
It was there was only one question I probably would have got wrong. Besides the last one that the Patriots had was the Ocean's 11 one, because I didn't know the other guy's name. But the rest of the questions round 5 I would have got right. But yeah, when it came to the Patriots question, I don't remember the last time I seen the Italian Job, and my guess was gonna be John Voight. You know, I was like, oh, it's probably John Voight, because I was like, shit, who played the father? Like, I mean, you know, like everybody says, you know, they know Mark Wahlberg, you know Jason Statham, you know Charlize Theron, and then it's like
Edward Norton,
and then it's like, you know, but I can't remember everybody that was in that movie. I haven't seen that movie in probably like over 15 years, so I was like, you know, figuring out who the dad was, I was like, that movie was not that good when it, you know, came out, so why would you keep rewatching it? So I drew a blank. I would have guessed John Voight. That's my go-to when I think of a father at that time period. But yeah, it was surprising. But Christopher said, you know, Jeff said he's seen that movie. No, I think it's either Jeff seen it once or JT seen it once, and that was it.
Seen it once.
And that was a long time ago. So
yeah, Jeff saw it back in 2003 when it came out.
Yeah. So yeah, it's almost 15 years. Yeah. So, you know, I can't hate on them. You know, it's just a question that they didn't know. You know, it sometimes happens. You know, you get a question you just don't know. And I mean, they played a hell of a, 9 matches before that, and it just landed on one question they didn't know. If it was another question, they probably would still be the champions right now.
Yeah. As far as how I would have done in that 5th round, I would have gotten all 3 of them, but I mean, like I said earlier, I was surprised that they wound up whiffing on that last question. I've seen the Italian Job a number of times, just because, you know, I guess it's weird for me calling it a guilty pleasure movie, because I really enjoy that movie. I still to this day really enjoy that movie. Like I saw it when I was younger, so it was 2003, so I was 10 years old. So for me nowadays, like I still enjoy watching that movie. It reminds me of going to the drive-in with my best friend and my family and everything like that. And so, yeah, it just surprised me that they wound up whiffing on Donald Sutherland. Hence why I brought up that freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional quote earlier. That's the John Bridger winds up using within that movie. So,
gotcha. Yeah, as far as the final round goes for me, I definitely wouldn't have gotten the Ocean's 11 question, like Evan said, and I haven't seen the Italian Job. I'll be straight up. At the time, like you said, 2003, I was 14 years old. I was more interested in watching Jackass and chasing girls than I was, you know, watching.
Boom, there you go.
Yes, movies that I had no interest in seeing whatsoever. So, but yeah, like you said, the way they played that 5th round, I mean, especially trying to drag it out and trying to rack their brains thinking of it with the use of the repeats and trying to, like you said, expertly played and expertly handled, and you know they tried to work as hard as they could under the pressure. Couldn't end up coming up with it. Obviously, Snyder throws out Robert Duvall, which, you know, won them the titles from top 10, ends up being what cost them the titles here. So slightly poetic justice, though I guess you can call it ironic, since I think, well, not really ironic, but just funny because Snyder intentionally threw that one out there because he had no clue. But yeah, overall, like I said, fantastic match. Came down to the wire as great championship matches should. Brand new team champions above the line, much deserved. And now we look forward to what's coming on the horizon with them. And boy, did they leave us with something fantastic at the end of that match.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah, and to add on to the Patriots 5-pointer, it was one of those things for me that even obviously this thing has been recorded. I'm not watching it live, but during my reaction, I'm like, I'm in my head, I'm saying Donald Sutherland, but I don't actually want to say the answer out loud, just so the Patriots don't. I'm saying, don't get it, and they didn't. And yeah, we love the bust the Patriots balls, but again.
But do you think you're going to be all of a sudden like Dan Aykroyd and friggin' Gross Point Blank? Astral projection, mental telepathy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
And again,
it's that thing like when you tell somebody, "Hey, don't think about elephants." What are you thinking about?
You're thinking about elephants.
Exactly.
But you know what? The last thing I want to say is that, yeah, Above the Line won the match, but they didn't beat the Patriots. The Patriots beat themselves, because if the Patriots would have hit that question, they would have been 10-0. Like, I would have, if for Above the Line, like, the Godfather's never a trash talker. He's never going to be like really, nasty talking trash. But if they would have got that question, they would have been 10-0. So I would have rather see Above the Line have like, a 6-point lead where like it's like, oh shit, TKO or KO. So at the end of the day, the Patriots pretty much beat themselves. It wasn't like Above the Line beat them. They lost. They just
Haven, I'll grant you that. But by that logic, the Above the Line beat themselves at the Spectacular, because they didn't. They got the last question, and unfortunately, they didn't know the quote from Remember the Titans. I mean, so by that logic, Above the Line beat themselves at the Spectacular.
They did. They lost the final question. They beat themselves.
Let's really call this what it is. Whoever came out with the titles with this one, based on how back and forth it was, much like it's a Spectacular, it came down to a war of attrition. It was who survived in the end. I won't say that necessarily Above the Line beat the Patriots. They survived the Patriots. But now with what they set up, we'll definitely get a definitive winner, if you want to call it that. And
Let's talk about that a little bit. Sure. Now, they confirmed in the post-match, this is going to be an Iron Man match at the Collision. Me personally, I think Above the Line is going to win this, and by at least 5 points. I give them a 5-point spread that they're going to win by. I just feel, especially when it comes to the speed round, Sam is so dominant that this isn't going to be as close as people may think. Now, I could be wrong, of course, but I feel the Patriots are going to have a long day at the Collision.
We got a guy in the chat, External Void.
That's Richard Schwartz, if I'm not mistaken.
And he's saying the Patriots will get the belts back. I'm kind of, I don't know how this is gonna go down. Iron Man match with 4 players playing at the same time. I don't know how they're gonna keep the score, like how the questions are gonna go. I'm really intrigued to see that, because when we seen Ken Napsall versus Sam Whitner, it was 1-on-1. Like, whoever got the answer right get the point. Then next question. How are you going to do that with 4 players? Like, are they all going to get a chance to answer the question? So that's why I think they got to figure that out. And I want to see how that, how the rules is going to be for that match, because that's what I'm really intrigued on. How do you do an Iron Man match with 4 players? So that's going to be really intriguing.
Yeah. To that point, Haven, if I'm remembering correctly, the bulk of the Iron Man match between Whitwer and Knapsack was whiteboards. They all got asked the same question, and they did whiteboard rounds, much like round 1. It was only the last couple of minutes where they switched to the buzzers. Yeah, the last 2 minutes where they switched to the buzzers. So, and that's the thing is, like Chris brought up earlier, Sam is deadly in that speed round. In that 28 minutes or however long they decide to go leading up to that speed round, the Patriots are going to need to get as big of a lead as they possibly can, because if Sam not only knows the answer but gets on that buzzer first, that gap will close quickly.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I'm in total agreement with James. I think that lead is going to dwindle by the time they get to that speed round. It'll be really interesting to see. I do actually agree with Richard on this one. I do think the Patriots are going to get the belts back. Now, that may be a controversial opinion. And look, I'm not a Patriots fan or anything like that, but I just, even going into that last one, I have no reason to doubt them. Even after this last one, I have no reason to doubt these guys. I think they're just going to kill it. And I think they're going to come out with a win, because they've come out with such narrow wins before. They've gotten out. They're like Indiana Jones almost. They get out of there by the skin of their teeth every single time. So I'm really looking forward to it. That being said, I do have to go because I've got to go hang out with some friends, go sing some karaoke, and have some drinks. So it has been fantastic hanging out with all of you guys. I will see you guys in the very near future. James, awesome seeing you as always, buddy. Chris, have yourself a good one, dude. And Haven, all the best, dude.
Have
Peace,
a
guys.
great night, and thanks for coming on, Sean.
I definitely will. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Anytime, my friend. Alrighty, fellas. So we got Sean for one match. So let's move on to the singles championship. Sam Levine looking to defend his title for the second time against Classy Clark Wolf, coming off her #1 contenders victory over Mike Kalinowski. What were your guys? Who are your predictions coming into the match? Me, I'm Fife Club for life, so of course I wanted Classy Clark Wolf to win this. What say you guys?
Go
ahead, James.
No, seriously, I was planning on letting you go ahead anyway. Go.
Oh, I just want to, before we even get to that, Sam just turned into a machine. That dude played 2 championship matches in 1 week, 10 rounds in 1 week. Nobody else has done that. And that dude won both of those matches. That dude must be exhausted as hell right now. So Sam Levine, hats off to you, brother, because that dude came a long way. Like, that dude is like, he's got to be like hibernating right now, just exhausted after all that.
I'm sure.
Just burning brain cells trying to shoot out answers.
Yeah, and that's why they're not going to have him defend the singles belt at the Collision, because that Iron Man match is going to take it out of him.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as far as the match itself goes, like, I went into it, my heart was saying Clark Wolf, because the girl's been chasing that belt for over 2 years, and good Lord, she's got just this air about her where she knows her stuff, but she's just so classy and so likable, hence her nickname, Classy Clark Wolf. You just want to see her succeed. You really do. But then again, in my brain, I'm thinking Sam has been deadly ever since he won the free-for-all last year. He went the distance with Dan Murrell. He won the Ultimate Schmoedown, the singles Schmoedown. He won the teams with Drew McWeeny. They came that close to beating the Patriots at the Spectacular, but then he rebounds from that and takes the title, and then has been able to defend it, and just has been a solid competitor going forward since, I'll even say since he debuted. So it's impossible to count that guy out. So like I said, while my heart was going for Clark, my head was going for Sam. It was just too close to call for me. But in the end, I really felt like I wanted to see Clark win, because I wanted that feel-good story. Sam kind of had his, going through the Ultimate Schmoedown, getting to face Christian and winning the belt itself. But then you really want to see that happen for some of the other competitors as well. So that was going into it. But like I said, the match was great until a certain point. We'll get to that. But overall, like I said, I couldn't be happier with the results, because, again, a strong competitor, a deserving competitor, has a hold of that championship belt. And that was going to happen one way or the other, regardless of how this match went.
Yeah,
absolutely. So going into round one, Sam, he had a pretty solid 6 out of 8. Clark went 7 for 8. Unfortunately, she missed out on a bonus on the final question for All Quiet on the Western Front, and a Patreon question to stump the Classy one. A little surprising to see that. So, what were your guys' thoughts on round one? I mean, I actually anticipated Sam jumping out to a quick lead, and it wasn't the case. I mean, Clark played admirably.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I never seen Sam take like a dominant lead over anybody in the first round. I mean, like James was saying, like, Clark's been here for 2 years. She knows her stuff. I mean, she might favor horror, but, ever since she partnered up with Riley, she's expanded. She knows her stuff, I didn't expect it to go I didn't expect round 2 to start with Sam having like 7 points and her having 2 or nothing like that, I figured it was going to be close.
Yeah. I went into it thinking maybe we'd have like maybe a 6-4 or like a 5-4, one way or the other. It wouldn't have been a big deal. Sam really got tripped up after he misunderstood what Ellis was saying with the actor/actress. I think he kind of heard it slurred together. That really threw him off with the John Leguizamo question about Ice Age. And again, like I said, I know the Patreon question kind of, I'm sure, threw a lot of people off. I think Sean and I were one of the few people who got it right. Haven, I don't know about you. But as far as all on the Western Front goes, at least with these Patreon questions, a couple of them I found like kind of gimmies in some sense because I've known the answers, but with some of these other ones, like with this one more recently, it's more like, okay, fans are paying attention. They know what some people's strengths are, some people's weaknesses are, and they're wanting to try to challenge and bring out some of the deeper pockets of knowledge from some of these competitors. So I was happy to see at least one of the competitors struggle a little bit with a Patreon question. So it didn't throw me off too badly. I know it threw off Clark a little bit, but like I said, it just shows that the people who are pledging to the show and really making it the success that it is, and that Christian's so thankful to have, are really, you know, doing their homework, paying attention, and wanting to see these competitors at their A game.
Absolutely. Yeah. So going to round 2, you know, Clark, she chose to go first. She got fantasy sci-fi, and she was a little rocky. 2 out of 4 for 4 points. And Sam, he stole both questions that Clark missed. And then Sam, he spun. He got new releases. Or no, he got James Bond, and then spun off of that and got war movies. And then he goes 2 for 4, only getting 3 points. And Clark wasn't able to get any steals. Or no, she got one steal, stop loss. So after round 2, it was tied up at 13. I mean, did you guys foresee you know, Sam doing it? I thought he would have did better with war movies, but I was wrong. What did you guys think?
I think, again, with the way that the wheel was set up this time around, because we noticed this with both the championship matches this week, neither spinner's choice nor opponent's choice were on that wheel. And I think, especially in the championship matches, that adds a fun little wrinkle to it, because nobody really gets an unfair advantage, or a perceived unfair advantage. And so both none of the competitors and none of us who are watching can use that as an excuse as to, oh, well, this person got, you know, this, and really that was a strength of theirs because they got to pick their own thing. But yeah, I think it just goes to show that when even the best of competitors, whether it's Clark Wolf or Sam Levine, when they get hit with something that is such a broad-ranging category, like war movies, it can mean Civil War, it can mean World War II, it can mean Korean War, Vietnam War. You know, there's so many different time periods that could encompass, and especially, and even with fantasy sci-fi, you know, there's so many different, you know, aspects of fantasy sci-fi, and, you know, so many different subgenres within fantasy sci-fi that you never know what you're going to get with those. So you really have to know your stuff. And, you know, when it can trip somebody like that up, it shows, okay, maybe even the most dominant competitors can get tripped up by something. And I think it just goes to show that these guys are, you know, they're human. We like to think, oh yeah, they're titans of movie trivia and this, that, but you know, they're human. They make mistakes, and they have little, you know, holes in their knowledge wells. But overall, like I said, Sam going his, you know, 2 for what did you say? 2 for 3, I believe was the score.
2 out of 4 for 3 points.
2 out of 4 for 3 points. Yeah. So seeing him do that was, like I said, I expected him to do at least pretty solid. I didn't know if he'd get them all, but then yeah, Clark getting those 2, that's 1 steal really helped her out, because Sam had stolen, like, I think it was like 4 points from her, so she needed whatever she could to catch, or to at least close the gap a little bit in that round. So like I said, it's a tooth and nail fight. You know, it's similar to like a boxing match where, you know, 2 people are still feeling themselves out in the second round. They're landing a few haymakers, but nobody's getting a definitive knockdown just yet.
Yeah. I thought, you know, the questions were the questions were a little harder in this match, since it was a title match. From previous matches I've seen, you know, where some of the questions were really easy. Like, they really stepped it up with the questions wise. And going back to the Patreon question, I don't know if they just picked a random one, you know, like I don't know how that goes. They, you know, people probably send them questions and they just picked one and they say, okay, you know, hey, this match is hey, this is the one we're gonna use for this match. So maybe that's what stumped them, you know, because it was a harder Patreon question. So I don't know how Christian determines which questions to pick from there, you know, because he probably gets a lot of questions from the fans, you know, and that question just happened to come up in the first round. But yeah, the second round, you know, they were just tough questions. And, you know, they both were able to go blow for blow, like James was saying, a boxing match. And at the end of the round, they were tied.
Yeah. Going off to your point, Haven, I have noticed a little bit, like it seems like with some of the newbies, like especially the debuting guys, you get a mix of some of the easier questions, but then they get a little bit tougher as you go along, just to kind of gauge what a person's knowledge base is. But when you've got two veterans, the likes of Clark Wolf and Sam Levine, especially in a title match, you're going to get a lot more of those deeper cut questions.
Oh, yeah.
So going into round 3, you know, it's still tied up 13-all. So Sam spins the wheel and again lands on War. Sam bet 2 points. Clark bet 1. Sam got the question right. Clark missed it for
3 points.
What is the character from Apocalypse Now? His final line, the horror,
Yeah.
which is surprise, you know, convenient. You know, Clark's strong suit is horror, and that was the line.
Oh, the irony.
So, yeah. So then Sam goes up 15-12, and then we get to round 4, and this is where most people are going to think, okay, this is where Sam really puts his foot on the pedal, essentially on Clark's throat, and it was the exact opposite. Now Sam gets the first question right, but then Clark gets the next 3, and then the 5th and final question, Sam got the first question right, and then got the second one wrong, and then Clark rattles off 3 in a row, tying the game. We're at 15-all.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have seen that coming? Clark Wolf dominating Sam Levine in a speed round.
Yeah. I mean, at face value going into this, I definitely want to call that. But, I mean, I saw that little Twitter video that they put up of, you know, the Fight Club practicing and Draco's asking the questions. They're all going at it with the buzzers and getting that practice in. And I definitely think that helped them going into this. But, yeah, I mean, like Clark said in the post-game interview and like we've said so many times about Sam Levine, getting used to that buzzer, especially in these championship rounds or these championship matches, is definitely going to be your biggest ally when it comes to how well you compete in that environment. But yeah, I mean, to see Sam Levine, a man who has been, I've said it before, I'll say it 1,000 times more, who has been deadly in those speed rounds, to kind of see his quick strike fangs of a viper kind of get clipped a little bit was a little shocking to see. I'm not gonna lie, but overall, I'm glad to see Clark really kind of step into her own as far as that goes, and then to see it tied up going into that final round, which honestly, to heighten that drama and to really play up how important that championship is, I mean, I couldn't have picked a better way to send it into the championship round than tied up at, what was it, 13? Or 15?
15 each.
So, yeah. So, speaking of, Haven, did you have any thoughts on the speed round? You know, when Clark dominating Sam. Who would have seen that coming?
Clark's played a speed round before when her and Mark Riley played for the tag team titles, so she's not a stranger. I mean, and she practiced, like James was saying. She's had practice, and when she knows her stuff, I mean, she's fast. She's a quick draw, you know. So she wasn't
not taking it away from her, but Sam has just been so great that people just assume he's going to dominate the speed round.
Yeah, no, it was surprisingly because it was it was, you know, it was it shows why she was in the title match to begin with. You know, she tied it up in the 4th round, going into the 5th round. You know, she wasn't messing around. You know, and at the end of the 4th round, 15-all.
Yeah.
Just one final point. It just goes to show how much of a student of the game that Clark Wolf really is, not just in terms of film, but of the Schmoedown itself. She knows the rules. She knows what to expect going into certain situations, and she prepares. And that's the best thing you can do, is go in with the best the best loaded arsenal that you can, as much ammunition as you can, so that way when you fire off a bullet, even if you miss, you can come back and get them with the next one.
So one thing, I want to take it back to the first round real quick. It was something that I made a mental note, but then I forgot about, and I just remembered. What were your guys' thoughts on, in the question about the animals in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Clark guesses rats, and Christian, he kind of gives, that, I don't think I can take that. Do you think maybe that should cease, because that was pretty much a clear giveaway to what the answer was to Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand where you would think about that, but at the same time, they both had their answers written down first. The pens were down. Nobody was able to keep going with anything. It's not like Sam would have changed his answer or anything. I'm pretty sure he already had it down.
Actually, sorry, James. I misspoken. That wasn't a round 1 question. It was a round 2 question.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, maybe, because I know exactly what we're talking about. Christian has had a tendency to kind of do that here and there, because him kind of just hemming and hawing about it would have clued him in that it's not necessarily a rat, it's probably another type of rodent.
That mice, right?
Yeah, okay. Right. Yeah, you're probably right on that. Sorry, well, I mean, I kind of blacked that out too, because to be fair, when I watched this last night, I'd just gone through 14 hours at work, being up at 5 a.m. working to 7, so it was a late night. But yeah, now that you mentioned that, that is kind of weird. And I guess whoever's calling the shots, or Christian's just, when he's looking back at the tape, he's got to kind of be more cognizant of when he does that, I suppose. But yeah. In that situation, I can see where in hindsight it would have been better to kind of like look over the tape and say, you know what, let's scrap this question and give another one, and then that way it's a fair shot to both competitors. But the match played out the way it played out. It's kind of like the whole situation when what was it, about a year or two ago with the Force Bros versus the Council, when Freddie Prinze Jr. wrote down Nerf Herder and it was supposed to be Swindler, and he didn't make a bother to correct. So yeah. Like I said, hindsight's 20/20, but you're right. That definitely would have been something to consider in that environment.
Yeah.
All right. So to get back, now we get to the 5th and final round, and as good as this match was, and it really is, the 5th round, it kind of disappointed. Both competitors, they missed all 3 of their questions. Sam had animated, not his strongest suit, horror, and then classics. Clark got scores and soundtracks, comedy, and fantasy sci-fi. Now, I was a little surprised that she didn't get Michael Giacchino on Star Wars. I know she's not a huge Star Wars fan, but I figured that's like common knowledge to people.
Especially teaming up with Riley the way she did.
Yeah. And then on comedy, her missing Robert Duvall played Will Ferrell's father in Kicking and Screaming. I was a little surprised she didn't get that. Her 5-pointer.
I've never watched that movie. I thought that shit was like VOD, Kicking and Screaming. Movie sucked.
Yeah, like straight to video or whatever.
Who the hell watched that movie?
I watched it a couple of times. I thought it was okay. I didn't love it, but.
Sorry, if you guys get a chance to watch my reaction, I realized this, and I just remembered it. I guess when she says that answer, or when she's asked that question, I guess David Morse, and for whatever reason I was thinking, wait a second, no, that's not the right movie, because I'm thinking The Odd Life of Timothy Green. Damn it! I was like, where the hell did that come from? And I just remembered that I did that. And it was like, crap.
And Sam, he misses all 3 of his questions. Animated, of course. Who thinks he's going to get that? The horror question, the sequel to Night of the Living Dead. I wouldn't have gotten that. And then the classics for Citizen Kane, who plays the best friend to Humphrey Bogart. I never would have gotten that either. That was unprecedented. Both competitors missing all 3 questions. But it made we got sudden death. And what more can you ask for in a championship match?
Exactly.
Man, that was a letdown also.
Yeah.
They got one right, and then the next one, anime, and she didn't get Cruz. It's like Nicolas Cage has been voiced one animated character, and that movie came out only like a couple years ago, which that movie was actually okay. the Croods. I watched that movie and I was like, all right, it was actually a cute little anime. But for her, I was just like, wow, the match kind of ended on a whimper. For the first 4 rounds, we're going, action packed. 5th round, no points, and then to go to sudden death to get 1 right, and then she misses that.
No, there were 4 questions in sudden death.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, there were 4 because I missed 2 of them.
It was 4. The first answer was
Was it 4?
Was it Driving Miss Daisy? No. The first question was who played Constantine in the movie Constantine? Keanu Reeves.
Right.
Then you had Driving Miss Daisy, and then the third question I can't remember what it was, but I didn't know the answer. And then the 4th one was the Croods.
Oh, you're right. I'm zoning out. I watched that movie after I watched Deadpool last night. I watched the match, so
no spoilers. I still haven't seen it yet. Or Deadpool.
No. Yeah, but after I watched Deadpool 2 last night, I came home and I watched the championship match. So I was, so it was pretty late. I was,
a lot of people said really funny where they couldn't breathe. They were laughing so hard.
But yeah, so I mean, Sam surprisingly, he wins on an animated question, and he retains the belt. First player in Schmoedown history with 10 wins. He's on a 7-game win streak in singles. I mean,
that's huge.
I mean, he's fantastic. I mean, like I said, I wanted Clark to win the belt. It would have been great to see a female with the championship, but you got to give it to Sam. He's on a roll. I mean, he's killing it. And teams, singles, I doubt he'll throw his hat in the IG. He's doing what Roka has always talked about doing, all the belts.
All the records, yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say, I know you're a little bummed, Chris, but I'll make you a prediction here right now. I guarantee you, before the end of this year is over, Clark Wolf and Rachel Cushing will have those team belts, and I guarantee you that either Emma Fyfe or Mark Andreyko will have a shot at the Inner Geekdom Championship.
Well, I certainly hope you're right. Speaking of the Shire Wolves, they got a big match coming up June 2nd, the live event, taking on Team Action, one of my other favorite teams. Now, of course, I'm pulling for the Shire Wolves. And, I mean, I can't wait to watch that match. If I lived in California, I would have been able to attend that because I did win 2 Schmoedown tickets on a radio show the other day. Nice. But I'm here in Maryland, so I can't go, so I gave them to a deserving fan.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, that match is going to be crazy awesome.
Yeah. I agree with you wholeheartedly, Chris. I'm pulling for the Shire Wolves. If you had to pick one team that annoys me more than the Patriots, it's Team Action. And I'm sorry, like I said, they're loud, they're obnoxious, they will never endorse Sanka, that's for damn sure. The suits they wear, I swear to God, put those stinking suits back on the Ken dolls you stole them from, you freaking morons. I'm sorry. They are, as JR would say, they are a polyp on the ass of life. But like I said, aside from my comedy routine, and I'll be here all week, be sure to tip your waitress. Like you said, that is definitely going to be a huge match, especially for both the Shire Wolves and for Action, because you can arguably say that whoever comes out of that match with a victory is definitely positioning themselves for a #1 contender spot or a #1 contenders match in order to face above the line. So there's huge implications for whoever comes out of this with a W.
And let's not forget, real quick, that match against Shire Wolves, that very well could be a breakup for a year match for Action if they don't beat the Kingsmen.
Very true. Very true.
The Shire. Wait, what happened?
Action is playing Kingsmen. Is it this week? I believe it's this week or next week. They're facing Kingsmen. And if they lose to the Kingsmen and then they lose to the Shire Wolves, they have to break up for a year.
Yeah.
That's Team Action?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, guy's been serving a 60-day suspension, so Bateman did all right without him, so it's not going to be like losing a limb or anything.
And honestly, I don't think it'll come to that because, I mean, the Kingsmen, they're full of hijinks, but I don't see Action losing to them, so I don't see Action being in that scenario.
Because Action has won matches before.
Yeah, I think it's more for the Kingsmen because Kingsmen are 0-2. If they go 0-3, then they might be in the situation.
Yeah, Action is not going to break up if they lose 2 in a row. They already won matches. That's only for teams that never won. That's
Haven. It's a stipulation that they sign the contract that if they lose to the Kingsmen and they lose to the Shirewolves, they have to break up for a year. It's a stipulation.
Oh, okay, all right. I didn't realize that. Oh, wow.
And Chris, that match is going on this Tuesday, and then we've got Stacey Howard versus Josh McCouga on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, win for Stacey. That's for
Stacey's an underrated competitor. I mean, she's 4-1, and I mean, if she beats McCouga, as much as I love McCouga, I think Stacey is going to pull that one out. Stacey's got to be close to in line to get at least a #1 contenders match.
Yeah, we talked about this 2 weeks ago. We talked about this almost a month ago on the Rewind. The Rewind Jack of All Trivia. Paul was up there and Grant, and they made valid points. It's just, I mean, that's a whole different talk. But I mean, if you want to talk about that, we can. But that's a whole different talk.
I mean, if she beats McCouga, 5-1 is a solid record. And
no, she'll be 4-1. 4-1.
No. If she beats McCouga, she'll be 5-1.
You sure? I thought she'd be 4-1.
Yeah,
because she's 4-1 right now.
She's 4-1 right now. So if she beats McCouga to go to 5-1, she's got to be in line for a #1 contenders match. I mean, it's not like she's beating cupcakes. She's beating Mark Ellis.
Yeah, but that's pretty much the only person she's beaten. Other than that, she's beating bottom of the barrel players.
Well, McCouga is the guest master, but let's not forget he almost beat Mark Riley once.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, he's ranked number 10 right now. I think she's ranked 6 or 8. So if she beats McCouga, I mean, it's not going to put her at #1 or #2. She's still got.
I mean, possibly, but 5-1 is an impressive record.
No
matter who you beat.
I mean, it is if you're beating jobbers, yeah. But I mean, if she beats Draco and she beats JTE and she beats I don't know, Clark Wolf, then yeah, I'll be like, holy shit, yeah, she should be a top tier player, but she's only beating Mark Ellis. Other than that, she's beating pretty much nobody.
Hang on a second, Haven. I'll agree with you to a certain point, but I'm going to throw a couple names out there at you. Ryback, Goldberg, Braun Strowman, all top level wrestlers who got started beating nothing but jobbers and doing squash matches.
Yeah, then when Ryback, when they finally pushed Ryback to the main event, he wasn't ready. He lost 3 matches in the main event scene. Never was the same.
Brock Lesnar did the same thing. Every single dominant professional wrestler who's been like the big man to beat got started doing squash matches with jobbers. Granted, you're right. However many of them went on to do.
That's true.
You're absolutely right. And like I said, I'm giving you your due here. How many of them really went?
That was mostly Paul and Grant's argument. Like me, I watch wrestling, and Christian used to write wrestling, so I understand like the storylines and what he tries to do with players. And some people are like, "Oh, well, it don't make no sense why she should be playing this person." It's like she's playing that person so she get a fucking win and build a record up. Like it's wrestling 1-on-1. Like I understand it, but other people,
people. But now she's getting her shot at the big leagues, and maybe it starts with McCouga. But then maybe she gets a match with, maybe a Rachel Cushing or even maybe a Clark Wolf. And if she does well with that and if she can pull out wins there, then she moves on to those bigger things. I won't agree with Chris that she gets like a #1 contendership right away or a #1 contenders match right away. But I think it goes a long way to her getting into that position later on.
Yeah. And it keeps her always relevant. If she wins the match, she's 5-1. So even if her next match she loses,
puts on a good showing, like against someone like I said, Clark Wolf or whoever, then it at least shows she's improving. She's doing well. We know she's got the depth of knowledge. So it's just she can hang in, under the pressure of competing with those upper tier talent.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to see her face her former partner, Breanne Chandler. I mean, Breanne holds that You know, she won the free for all, so
You
she's
got the
got that
contract.
ace in the hole. But I'd like to see her take on Brienne or possibly a Jeff Snyder. I'd like to see her up against Snyder. That could really gauge how well of a competitor she is.
No, I don't think Brian. You know what's gonna happen? I think right after the Iron Man match, no matter what team wins or loses, I think Brienne's gonna cash in and beat Sam Levine for that belt.
That's entirely possible. I mean, it would throw a monkey in Sam's plan to not defend at Collision, but
hey,
only time will tell.
I mean, he did it to Dan when after Dan faced, after Dan had a match, and especially this match is gonna be different. It's gonna be an Iron Man match, so I think Sam's gonna be exhausted, and that's the perfect chance. It's just like wrestling's Money in the Bank cash in.
Exactly.
They already had a brutal match. The belt, you hear the guy's music. Guy comes out, beats you in like 15 seconds, new champion. I could see Brienne doing that because I really think that's the only way she's going to win that title. I'm not saying she's not a great player, but Sam's going to be tired. His brain's going to be scrambled after that Iron Man match. If it was a regular tag team championship match, he could still have a little. But if an Iron Man match where questions are just coming and you got to keep answering, that dude's going to be so tired, brain fried. That's when Brienne's going to come in and cash in and win that title. First woman champion.
And honestly, how poetic would that be? Last year at the Collision, Sam tried to do the same thing after Dan Murrell had gone through a match, and he couldn't get the job done. How poetic would that be if Brian Chandler accomplishes what he couldn't and takes the belt off of him in an ironic twist of fate?
Yeah, full circle.
Yeah, and also to go back, for the Schmoedown Live event, I don't know if you guys seen earlier today's post Christian made. Something big is happening at the live event that he's confirmed. I mean, I don't know what that could be.
Yeah, I saw that too. It's kind of cryptic, but I was like, okay, you have my attention.
I don't think it's going to be a match. It could. To me, it sounds like it's going to be a reveal, like maybe the return of Dan Murrell, like you guys talking about earlier. Maybe it could be that. I don't know. Maybe The Rock and Kevin Hart are going to show up.
That would be pretty cool. How cool would this be though? Because we know Christian and Mark are usually the ones on the desk, especially with the last live event. What would it be like if for the Team Action versus Shire Wolves match, they bring Dan Murrell out as another commentator to try to get into Guy's head? Because he's going around saying, I'm the man who beat Dan Murrell. It's like, you've been talking a lot of shit. Let's see how you do when I'm sitting here right next to you. And then after that match, maybe Murrell challenges him to something later on down the line. Who knows?
Now, that would be good, James, but I want up you on that. I think it would be even better if they follow the same protocol like they did the last live event where the competitors come out and they talk to the crowd, get them all pumped up. If while Team Action is out there and they're doing their thing on stage, and then out of the shadows comes Dan Murrell and he's standing there watching. And then Andrew Guy turns around.
Nice.
I think that would be just it would tear the fucking roof off.
It absolutely would. I completely agree with you. I do like that idea. I like where your head's at.
Absolutely. Haven has left us for a moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, championship week it lived up to the hype. I mean, they couldn't have scripted this thing any better. In my opinion.
Absolutely. And we talk all the time, like, yeah, they'll like certain things about it, the characters and everything else, that kind of stuff. You can write that to a certain point, like those backstage segments and whatever else. But when it gets down to the nitty-gritty in the Schmoedown, it's run as an honest game, an honest trivia competition. And honestly, it's become one of the biggest parts of my life since I started watching over 2 years ago with Dan Murrell versus John Campia back in 2016. It's been a huge part of my life. It will continue to be a huge part of my life. And all I can say is if Christian is watching this, Mark Ellis, whoever else is involved over there at Collider, thank you guys so very much for this because it makes my life infinitely more fulfilled every single day.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, same here. the Schmoedown. If I could only watch one thing the rest of my life, it would be Schmoedown.
Yeah.
Like I love movies, but the Schmoedown, I mean, it's fantastic. It's wonderful entertainment.
That's a little extreme, but okay. I don't
I,
know. So, if you only watch one thing for the rest of your life, I don't know. I probably would pick porn, but okay.
well, I
Yeah.
don't watch
Good.
porn.
All
I don't
right,
watch
all
porn.
right,
Believe
all
it or
right.
not.
That's not for live here. All right.
PG show.
We're doing sound offs or
I mean, what were your overall thoughts on just championship week, Haven? Did it live up to the hype for you? Has this been the best week in Schmoedown history?
besides the like when they do like the big pay-per-views, yeah, hands down, this was I can't think of no other week where we've seen the title change hands where the champion won another title and retained the title. Two grueling matches came down to the wire or went to sudden death. Yeah, this pretty much hands down probably is the best week. So I think all the Dan Murrow GOAT talk needs to stop. I mean, he lost his title. What he had 7 points in his title match when he lost his title, Dan Murrow. Like, I don't know why people were so hyped on Dan Murrow. I didn't. Yeah, he's a nice guy, soft spoken, but all this GOAT talk needs to stop. Like, he might be sixth best, but right now, unless he comes back and keeps dominating, he's not the fucking GOAT. Like, come on, Sam is the GOAT. Sam's proven it. And then after Sam is the Patriots as the second GOAT. Those guys 9-0, champions for over a year and a half. Like, Dan, what does Dan have done? Like, come on, man. Like, I don't know what people love about Dan so much. They must watch movie fights too much or something, because I haven't drank the Kool-Aid. Like, literally, when he lost, who he lost to? Christian.
Roca and Riley.
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah.
He lost.
He beat Riley. Sorry, Roca and Christian.
Yeah.
But who did he lose to?
He lost
the first time he lost the belt was to Roca, and then he got it back from Roca when he had the triple threat, and then he lost it to Christian.
And what was his score? I think he had like
his match with Christian. It was I think it was a kind of low scoring match. I believe like maybe 15-12 or something like that.
You guys are scrub. But anyway, this was a great week. This was a great week. I'm really excited to be part of just a viewing experience. I love what those people do at the Schmoedown. Christian, Mark, the whole staff, the whole crew, everybody that contributes behind the scenes, all the players that come play. You could just tell everybody's having a blast. Everybody's learning their characters, and it's fun. And I'm grateful to be a part of it. I'm in 5 different fantasy leagues. And I started Trivia League because of the Schmoedown. I met a lot of friends through it, and I'm just happy, to just witness it weekly. So I want to thank Christian for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to correct you just a little bit here, Chris. Murrow lost it to Roca. Roca lost it to Riley, and then they had that triple threat. Riley was first eliminated, and then it came down to Roca and Murrow, and then
that's right. That's right.
But yeah, I'll echo everything that Haven said. This was a great week. Like I said, I don't think I've ever seen a week like this in Schmoedown history before. I don't know if we'll see it again. And I will go on record as saying what a lot of other people have said, that this is the best season of the Schmoedown we've had so far, and it's only going to keep getting bigger and better, especially with guys like you and me and Haven and Sean and all the other guys who follow it closely and support it and everything else. If we keep giving our support and we keep helping out and letting them know, hey, this is an important thing. It's what you guys are doing. It means something to so many different people. It's going to grow by leaps and bounds, and I can't wait to see what it turns into.
Absolutely, and to echo, going forward, I know we were gone for a little while, but we are back every week, Saturdays, 100%. And I can tease something right now. I've already booked a competitor. She has a match coming up sometime soon, and she will be appearing on the show. So if you want to know who it is, you'll just have to tune in on that episode in a few weeks.
Good deal, man.
So I want to, throw it to my crew. Sean Sandberg, he left early. You can find him on Twitter at Sean Sandberg. Facebook the same. Haven, where can everybody find you?
They can find me on Facebook at Jack of All Trivia, and they can find me on YouTube at Jack of All Trivia. And I am Haven Pendergast. You need to find me on Facebook.
James?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at James E. Schmo. You can also find me here on YouTube at James Schmo. I compete in the Jack of All Trivia League. I just had my first wrestling match the other night, which was an awesome fatal four-way. Came out on the first W. I believe I'm having another match this week with Malcolm. So that'll be another fun one. I guess he wanted another spanking, but we'll see how that turns out. You can also find me, like I said, on my YouTube channel. I do Schmoedown reactions, death battle reactions from time to time. I do trailer reactions. I also run my own show there. Chris, you've been on there before. It's called Sweating It Out. We're working on getting another guest in there, hopefully sometime soon, because I do want to have a great discussion. The next episode, once we get around to it, is going to be about the pros and cons of fandom in general. So hopefully you guys can tune in for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, and other than that, just find me on Facebook, James Schmo. You can just search me there. Find me, like I said, in MTS Fan Reaction League, Jack of All Trivia, all that good stuff. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to more Schmoedown All Access in the future, man. This is great stuff.
Absolutely. And to echo James' point about that wrestling four-way, I was a part of that. If you want to see me sucking at wrestling trivia but giving funny answers, go check it out. You can find me on YouTube at Christopher Woodburn, Twitter, Chris Woodburn 83, Facebook, Christopher Michael Woodburn. And if you do Schmoedown reactions, trailer reactions, come join the MTS Fan Reaction League. It's a lot of fun.
Really?
So until next time.
One last thing really quick, Chris, because I know Haven will get a kick out of this. I'm actually doing something really cool. As far as my channel goes, I'm only at I'm under 100 subscribers right now. But if I can get up to 100 or above by the end of June, I know Haven will get a big kick out of this. I will do one Schmoedown reaction and one either Jack of All Trivia match or whatever kind of league it is, Inner Geekdom Wrestling or whatever, as a broken/woken Matt Hardy style character.
Oh, nice.
So hopefully if you guys...
I don't know what that means. But it sounds exciting.
It's a hoot and a half. We'll talk more about it when we go off air.
All right. Well, this has been episode 2 of Schmoedown All Access, and we will see you guys next Saturday. So, peace.